position for political gain. So anything that I do will have to be separate and apart from those organizations.
So you intend to put out clear statements, published, that everyone knows that, it's clear and distinct that
yes.
you intend to make those statements. What about the diaspora? Have you been in touch with members of the Anguillan diaspora to communicate your message? They also have families and influences on persons in Anguilla.
Yes, definitely. Especially that Anguilla England connection. I see room for collaboration there, and for expanding into that area. So it's something that I'm looking at and will definitely be exploring in the near future.
Gleniva, what would you have to say to other young persons like yourself in the community who might be in the valley of decision now, contemplating, should I go, should I stay? What advice would you have for them? Of someone who's taken a bold step to come out and publicly declare that come 2020 I will be a candidate, independent candidate in the at-large category, going forward in the 2020 elections?
It's funny and I smile because just last week Monday, after I launched and I had an interview, and to this very same question, I said I would hope to be an inspiration to persons. We have the opportunity to change the dialogue of the political arena in terms of, I know a lot of young persons are hesitant because of, again, what they deem to be the nastiness of politics. And I'm saying if you're coming into this with a clear vision, policy driven, then we can start to change the dialogue surrounding that. And I go back to I smile because after answering that question and after that interview, I was actually contacted by someone who I had no clue was interested. And they were inspired, and they are now seriously considering entering into the race. And so I think sometimes it's difficult to be the first out in terms of you feel as if though there's no safeguards, you're just thrown into the deep end. But if that is my purpose, so as to encourage other young persons, anybody really, it doesn't have to be a young person, but anyone who has Anguilla's interest at heart, then that is my purpose.
You mentioned on two occasions the nastiness of politics. And I suspect you're alluding to the name calling and the other bits and pieces that go with it. In the arena, as we know it, and from time to time, politicians in the heat of the moment, you have some exchanges. Are you prepared mentally and otherwise to, if you're attacked in a personal way, to respond in kind, or will you stay above the fray?
There's a famous quote by Michelle Obama: when they go low, we go high. It does no one any good to get down in the gutter, because what gets lost are the people. What gets lost is the message and the idea of pushing a policy. So no, I believe firmly in the principles of sticking to the message, sticking to policies, and hopefully that is what will resonate most with people. Not the name calling, not the personal attacks. Stick to the message.
So Gleniva, why should anyone across the length and breadth of Anguilla vote for Gleniva Hodge when you put your symbol on the ballot for the 2020 elections? Why should any Anguillian vote for you? Why do you think they ought to vote for you? They should express their vote in you, should side with you in the next general election? What's your message? What are you telling them directly? And you have the opportunity to speak to them, as we are doing now in this interview, directly.
Right. So if it is that you want to vote for someone who is not doing this for myself, because I have absolutely nothing to gain by this, but for someone who is genuinely interested in propelling the next generation, the generation of my daughter and her children, or her future children, I should say, in making sure that we have an Anguilla that is sustainable, that is prosperous for not just those of us who are here now, but for those of us who will come. That is what my message is. That is what I am about. And so if that is what you want to see, then I encourage you to follow me on this journey as I express more of how I intend to do that.
What's your feeling on the young people? Are young people in Anguilla seriously interested in politics?
It is unfortunate. I think they feel disenfranchised because of the very same two-party system that has existed. They see it as a valley, and they see no change, and they see no real place for them. You know, there is...
They tell you this? They share this with you in your discussions? Yes.
I'll tell you, there are persons that go, if you join with either of those parties, we will not vote for you.
If you join with either AUM or AUF,
they will not.
They've said that to you categorically, no.
Straight. They will not, because they feel so disenfranchised. You know, and it is rather unfortunate, because I think we have, within this 35 square miles, between our population of 13,000 people, we have some of the most talented persons in almost every arena that you can think of. You look at our sports area, you look at the entertainment aspect, you look at when it comes to the academia and those areas. We have some brilliant, talented persons, and I don't think that enough focus is placed on them. You know, we tend to say, well, one or two bad apples, and rather than looking at... So the youth feel left out. They do. They do. You know, and we are quick to toss aside or to generalize based on one or two situations, rather than looking for opportunities to build them up. And so that is, if I can provide that hope that we can start to shift the narrative, then that is what I hope to do.
How critical you think will be the youth vote come 2020? How critical you think that youth vote will be in the 2020 elections?
Historically, I think Anguilla has always enjoyed a high turnout of voters across the board and amongst young people. So it's not, I know in a lot of other places...
You think it will be a game changer in 2020? The youth vote? You think it could be such an impact? Yes.
I think the influence of youth will be a game changer. Not necessarily the youth vote, but the influence. Because...
Why you say this?
I'll go back to, let's say, the last election. You know, how many messages were available directly to them? And so a lot of the information that they got may have come from parents down or older generations down, whereas now the information is moving up. And so their influence, their ability to hold discussions with their parents, with their grandparents, with the older generation, to say, this is what we want.
You could see them breaking away. I know traditionally, if
Yes.
my mother, father, my family votes this way, I'll vote this way, vote that particular way. Do you see now the breaking up, where young person is now saying, look, if mom and dad wants to go that way, that is their feeling. But if I want to go another way, based on my own thoughts and what I'm being offered, what I'm being told, you see that coming into play more and more now?
Definitely. And even a step further than them just breaking away and say, mom and dad, will you go your way? It's shifting to, mom and dad, this is why I think you should come my way. So I see that. Will it manifest completely in 2020? You know, that's left to be seen. But I think we're starting to move in that direction.
Do you sense a change in the mood of persons here in Anguilla? It's a year, just over a year before the polls are constitutionally due. Do you sense there's a thrust that people are even excited, people are talking more about politics, people are more animated in their discussions and looking forward to whenever the poll is called in 2020? You get that sense from your social media network and persons you go around?
I don't think it's hit fever pitch as yet.
When do you think this will be? After Carnival, for example? You think it would pick up?
It's possible that after Carnival, when there's that lull, and I think you're going to start to see people trying to capitalize on, well, Carnival is over, the majority of persons are at home, they're not quite working, and so they are more, available to tune into messages, and so you may start to see a pickup. But with elections, I think, based on the new constitution, I think we have the amendments to the constitution, I think we have up until June 27th next year before elections. So
you mentioned it. Those amendments to the constitution that have been put in place or will be put in place. What are your thoughts on? We have, for example, at large.
Yes.
That's one, and a couple other changes. What are your general feelings on those changes?
I think they're welcome for the most part. There were one or two that.
What were those? You care to share what those that you had some issues with?
I had some issues with, not at this point. I think I'd like to explore those further and really be able to give a sound position on them before I do that, in terms of looking at what are the ramifications of such. And so I'd like the opportunity to really look at those and to be able to delve into them when I have much more time.
How soon would you think you'll be able to delve into those?
So
you give yourself any time. I would imagine that those questions will come up.
Yes, they will
on the platform.
They will
in the campaign.
So we do intend to do it, later in the year. Like I said, there's room for collaboration and partnership, and so that is one of the areas that I'd like to make sure that whoever it is that I team up on with, that we're on the same page, and so together as a team we can explore those areas. So I want to give them that time to really put their affairs in order, and so that we can do that together.
Have you been approached by anyone or any member or officials from any of the two main political parties? Before you've launched or since you've launched?
Since I've launched. Not since I've launched. Not since I've launched in the context of joining with them. Let me say that. There's been an exchange of congratulations coming from...
Any exploratory talks?
There have been.
Any WhatsApps, any emails, any phone calls? Just inquiring.
Yes, definitely. I can say there's been discussions with at least one party, and that is why I can sit here and say that as it stands, I do not see myself really joining as part of the team. There was also some exploratory phone calls made to members of my team, but not to me directly, about joining with my interest in joining with another party. But as it stands.
Yeah. How did you feel about this? That you're being calls are coming in and persons are trying to get in touch with you and feel you out, see where you stand on certain issues, your positions, and the way forward for you.
You see, this question, in an attempt to not, hang my hat higher, it tells me I made the right choice. It tells me that there is a need and that people see a need for me in the arena, and so that's it solidified my resolve to enter the race.
Yeah, so people are looking for good representatives, people who can represent their views, and people who can represent them solidly in the House of Parliament.
Correct.
And you see yourself as just such a person.
That's right.
What's ahead for you, Gleneva, going forward, finally, as we prepare to wrap up? Again, what's your message? What's your platform? What do you intend to do? Will you remain? How long will you remain out? Are you going to hold out, or you're going to wait and see before you narrow yourself down as an independent candidate? If certain things are put out, some carrots are dangled in front of you, will you jump up and bite, or will you just remain firm and remain true to what you believe in?
Again, I'm guided by principle, And so I do have tremendous hope that we will start to see some more persons coming on board, where we can collaborate in that area. So that is my hope and my vision going forward in terms of alignment, as it relates to my message, where we go from here. Definitely going to be hearing from me a little bit more with some more interviews. Also, once we get over this carnival season where persons are wrapped up, what I have, my vision for the Anguilla that I want to see at the end of the day, it is the people that I will represent. And so I would like to hear their vision as well. What is it that they want? And I'd like that to feed into my policies. So while I have the basis for my policies, to be able to get those views to feed into those policies so that it is a true representation of what it is that the people want. And so that is why I say putting people first. It's making sure that they have a voice. And so doing town halls, doing focus groups, that will be coming definitely after the peak of this carnival season, when people have more time to really engage.
And you think the people want change?
Yeah, I think we are
absolutely
at a pinnacle where we are definitely looking
absolutely
for
think the people want change.
I think the people want the option. I think they want options, one, and I think they want to see that we have something that we can attain, that we can go further, that there is more to it than just where we're at. And so they want hope for their future, for the future of their kids and future generations.
Gladiva Hodge, I want to thank you so very much for coming and sharing with us. Always good to talk to you. Thank you so very much, and best of luck going forward with your campaign.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.